It's this total sensory and social overload, and that's a core theme they explore.
Or how about this one? Waking up in that quiet, vulnerable window in the middle of the night when your emotional defenses are totally down. Your brain kind of boots up before your logic does, and suddenly that feeling of being alone feels absolutely massive. It's a heavy, hard-to-name loneliness that they give a language to.
And then there's this, that simple, uncomplicated peace you get just being with an animal. And it's not that you're antisocial, right? It's about that profound relief of connecting with something without having to perform, without worrying about being judged. These feelings, well, they're the entry point.
See these raw, often confusing feelings? That's exactly where Psych2Go meets its audience. They've created this online space that's all about making sense of our wild, complicated inner worlds.
So this is their mission, straight from them. And you got to pay attention to the words they use here. It's not just accessible, it's digestible and heartfelt. That tells you everything, doesn't it? They're not just translating dry academic studies, they're translating the human experience.
And what's so cool about this is how their human approach is like literally built by a team from all over the world. I mean, you've got animators in Vietnam and Hong Kong, a writer in the Philippines, a voice artist in Canada. The content ends up transcending any single culture because it's made by this global community for a global community.
Okay, so how do they do it? How do they actually map out these super complex emotional territories for millions and millions of people? Let's break down their technique.
Well, first off, they give a real scientific name to stuff that usually just gets dismissed. Like, take misophonia. It's not just you being too sensitive about someone chewing loudly. They explain that it's a real physical fight or flight response happening in your brain, a genuine difference in how your mind is processing that sound. And this is their method in a nutshell. It's brilliant. They put the common kind of shaming conception right next to the actual psychology, and just like that, it's not a character flaw anymore, it's a neurological trait. The blame just evaporates.
And they do this with so many things that feel all tangled and confusing. I mean, think about it. Terms like mental, psychological, and emotional abuse. We hear them all the time, often used interchangeably. But here, they break it down into these super clear categories, what it targets, and what it looks like. This kind of clarity is just so empowering.
And this is what they do so well. They offer these incredibly powerful reframes. Feeling totally overwhelmed in a crowd isn't you being dramatic. No, it's your nervous system processing in 4K. That one little shift in language changes everything. It turns a source of shame into a moment of real understanding.
So let's really get to the heart of it, the core of their entire approach, and see how this all builds such a powerful, real connection with their audience.
So here's the absolute crucial point. It's this constant, unwavering message of validation. Your feelings aren't presented as some kind of personal failure, but as a totally logical response. Being overwhelmed isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign that you've been carrying way too much, for way too long, all by yourself.
It's almost like you can see their formula at play in hundreds of their videos. It's a four-step process, really. First, they name that specific, often hidden feeling. Then, they explain the psychology behind it. Then, and this is key, they offer validation. They say, hey, it's not just you. And finally, they encourage self-awareness, not as a command to go fix yourself, but as a gentle invitation to understand yourself a little better.
Okay, let's see how they use this formula on that idea of preferring animals. The common judgment, the thing you hear all the time, is that you're just antisocial. But their reframe, it's that you're actually looking for what psychologists call unconditional positive regard, that incredibly rare safe space where you can just exist. No performance, no judgment. See? It's not about hating people. It's about protecting your own peace.
And the result of this consistent, validating method, well, it's had this absolutely profound impact, resonating with literally millions of people all around the globe.
I mean, look at this number. This isn't just a metric. It's over 15 million views on one single video about burnout. What does that tell you? It represents this immense, often silent collective experience. It's a huge signal of just how deep our human need is for content that simply says what you're feeling is real, and you are not alone in it.
So, in the end, their success isn't just about making psychology simple. It's about giving us the words for experiences so many of us couldn't name. It gives viewers permission to just be human. It transforms that quiet, personal shame into a shared understanding, and that creates a real sense of community around the parts of ourselves we often feel we have to hide.
And all of this leaves us with a final, pretty big thought. Psych2Go seems to get that being seen isn't about broadcasting your life for everyone to look at. It's about having your quietest, most confusing feelings met with, well, with gentle, validating understanding. And in a world that so often confuses exposure with intimacy,